right now and see what I
You're
see.
live. Facebook is saying everything is saying you're live on here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on YouTube it still says waiting for ready to emerge.
So
So let's just type in the comments so everyone knows what's happening. We're gonna check that out, guys. Because we're here and we're and we're live.
Oh, nothing. Yeah, Lauren is saying nothing
Yeah,
yet.
well, I'm literally on YouTube right now, and I can see all the comments, and it's just the purple screen that says, "Are you ready to emerge?" So it actually hasn't started. Oh, we're on now. So I hope you guys can see us now, because I can see me. Yay! Guys, this happens. It's fine. Does that mean that we get to start over? Do we start over again? I think we should. Let's pretend like we didn't do anything because nobody saw or heard it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of season 7 of Ready to Emerge. We're so happy to have you here. We've been on talking to ourselves. You know, when you're talking to truth, that was what was happening.
Rochelle, you know that exactly what just happened here happened to me. Similar earlier, I was on a call with one of my team members and I'm lavishing away, only to realize that my screen is black because my phone is dead and was probably dead for like 2 minutes while I was having this long conversation with myself.
With yourself. So we're having a great conversation with ourselves. We were hailing up people. So we're doing it all the time. Hi, Auntie Norma Del Lorian. Hey, Rochelle. Good to see you.
Again. Hi again to everybody.
Tracy Fletcher. Tracy's actually, yeah. See Tracy here? Yes. And Auntie Norma Del said we were practicing. So it was rehearsal. So now this is so, we are here on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. And you can join us on YouTube, on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram at Ready to Emerge. I am actually on an Instagram and Facebook fast. I'm taking a little break from social media, spending some time with myself, getting to know myself, resting my brain. Deborah D, so happy we're here. Yeah, said Deborah D said we go hard. We said we're coming back and we're coming through the gates. We're going big or going home. I would say who I go big with. Go tell your friend them and your neighbor them. Say tonight we're going real big. It's such an exciting night. We've been on a break. We've used the time for a lot of just rejigging, recreating, redefining. We were going to do a workshop, but no, we're actually, I think, Catherine, tell us, we should introduce ourselves though. People there when they walk into one place and they're just like, hey darling, hey you, darling. They don't introduce themselves, that's us. Hey you darling, you darling in the red. What's your name? Miss? In the red.
Yes.
Who is you? In the red. Who is you? Introduce yourself, lady in red. Introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Kat Goodall. I am a part of the Emerge Trio. I am a marketing consultant and a leadership and growth coach. I'm super excited to be back for season 7. This is exciting. I can't believe we're in 7 seasons in already. But I'm particularly excited about our first episode because we are all thrilled to have our first guest today. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi. Hey guys, so my name is Naomi Garrick. I am also known as the PR Chick, and I am a proud founding member of the Emerge Trio. I am a PR consultant and personal branding coach, and essentially I help people to build more purposeful and profitable personal and professional brands. I'm also very super excited to be here for episode 1 of season 7. We're in our second year of Detour Essentials live since COVID, but we're still here because we realized this was such a great space for our emergers to reconnect and re-emerge with us even during this time. And as we come out of COVID, we still want to keep the community and keep the connection strong. So we're so happy for our Emerge family as well as new emergers who are joining us tonight because we have a big headliner for our show tonight. And we are thrilled to have her back on Detour Essentials Live. So guys, we're just as excited as you are. Hey, Rochelle.
Wow, Tracy's online. Rochelle, I've never seen Tracy comment on Emerge.
I'm very and so she loves my specs. You know what happened with these glasses though, guys? I act different. I feel like I'm acting smart. I'm smart. I feel real smart. No, that I can actually see how smart I am.
Is that your smart?
You can see how smart you are.
That's a smart
Hello,
voice.
everybody. Welcome. My name is Rochelle Cameron. I am CEO and founder of Pressure Consulting Service Limited. I'm also a proud attorney, and I get to lead a team of professionals as we help organizations with their legal strategy, their human resource people strategies, and just we are about wealth creation. We want to build wealth, and we want organizations to build wealth so that we as a country in Jamaica can be more successful. I am a proud founding member of the Emerge trio. The other day, I go Fontana. Cause I'm always there Fontana. You're the security now. Miss Cameron. Emerge now start back. One more for do with my Wednesday.
What? I love that.
So we are back.
So Emergers, let us know where are you joining us from tonight, right? We haven't been on for like how many weeks. So we need to catch up. I mean, not just with ourselves, but with you guys. Where are you joining us from tonight? And let us know in the chat if you are excited about this new episode and our guest that's backstage waiting to be announced. So let us know before we start. Where are you joining us from? And are you excited to be here tonight?
Yeah, and of course, I want to say thank you.
We look good. You don't find that we just look fresh. We look fresh. We look fresh. We look fresh. That's how we're fresh. That's how we're fresh.
Lorian is in Toronto. Deborah is in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Where else are people joining from? And guys, what have you been doing with your break? Like what you did with the Wednesday? Hey, Georgia. Georgia is in Kingston. You know, on this break, I really I experienced for the first time real burnout. I was exhausted. There was like a week that I literally felt like I wasn't functioning, and I thought I was sick. And of course, I called Melanie. I'm like, Melanie, and I diagnosed all kind of things. And she's like, I know exactly what it is, and I'm coming to check in. I'm like, you're diagnosed. I wonder what stage I am. She's like, you're at the stage. You're tired. She said you're tired, your bone them tired.
Body come down.
Body come down. And she reminded me that as much as I have not moved from 27 plus excise duties and other taxes, she's like, girl, you're stepping up in age, you know. So a girl gotta sleep.
Sorry, who said that? Sorry, who is stepping up in age? Sorry?
People.
You're 25. You're 25.
27 plus GCT and excise.
Oh, 27. Sorry. Yeah.
And custom and import taxes. Someone says,
tired.
I'm joining. I love it. Simone!
Hi, Samantha. Welcome to Emerge.
I see. Oh gosh, Simone, we haven't seen you in so long. Yes. Samantha, welcome. Hi, Samantha. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for the first time. So, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is season 7.
Catherine, before we interrupted you, you were saying a lovely appreciation for a group that has really powered us through Detour Essentials Live for the last couple of seasons. So let's go back to that.
Let's go back. So, of course, we want to say thank you to Sagicor. They have been an amazing partner for us for the past 2 years. We have some exciting things to come for the rest of this year. And I know that you guys will be even more grateful that they decided to partner with us. So we want to say thank you to Sagicor for choosing us. You've been phenomenal, not just in the background, but everybody will start to see, especially with our new event that we have launching on September 18th. So Emerge Summit is coming back. So we are having our first live conference on September 18th at the AC Hotel. So you can tell everybody.
Our first live conference since COVID.
Since COVID, yeah.
Our last live event was in July of 2019.
No, our last was January.
Our last conference
was
July
summit
of 2019.
Yeah.
So, guys, We are super excited. We did a site visit this week. You see how early we're starting to prepare because we want to make sure that everything is perfect for you. Yes, we're going to be streaming for those of you that are outside of Jamaica. So just look out for the details on all of our platforms that Ready to Emerge, but we are super excited. And Sagicor has so many exciting things in store for you. I'm just like, am I going to get to be a patron to participate in those things?
No,
Guys,
this is so
let us
exciting.
know in the chat if any of you have actually been to our Emerge summits. We had two in 2019, one in March, that was our first one, and the second one in July, and then we had our hybrid event in
January
2020. So we are like, first of all, our summits are, I just have to say, I know we're not supposed to like brag and stuff, but they are the bomb, right? It's a lot of excitement. You get workbooks, you get a lot of actionable next steps. We feed you, we do all kinds of things. But our speakers, every year, it's like our speakers just get more phenomenal. So we also are active participants at every one of our events because it's like, we just want to take in all of the information and all the notes and then actually transfer them back into what we're doing in our lives, so that we can all start living this life that we were meant to live. So we are beyond excited to actually come back with an Emerge Summit. And we're going back to the AC Hotel where we had the last one. So whoever went there, you know what that was like. So
Janice has been to all of them. So Janice is like been to all so far.
We love you guys.
Listen.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I even learned how to do the bones. Watch your bones. Yeah.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
We can do it, right?
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this.
I'm sorry, did you say we?
Yeah, guys,
Yeah,
it's
no,
crazy.
I like to speak French, guys.
I've been trying to practice. We can do it like right here. So you have to bounce.
Right. I'm gonna pretend like I know what you guys are doing and what you guys are talking about.
I bet Terry gonna do it when she come on. Terry not gonna make me. She's not gonna make me stay by myself. We'll close the show.
Terry's facial expressions right now are priceless. Let me just say.
We will close the show with us doing the bones. Yes, Terry, you. I see you in the private chat.
Yeah, I should take a break and look at what the bones is. I don't know.
But Tia says that my class finished right on time. So glad I didn't miss this. Terri-Karelle is such a phenomenal woman and one of my role models.
Oh, yay.
You know, guys, we did say that we had to come back and out the gates huge with just an amazing Jamaican who is gracing stages all over the world. But it's kind of funny because we're actually starting where we began. Our very first conference, we called Terri-Karelle and said, we want you to be our host. And she didn't even ask us what this thing was about. She was on board. She was like our first emerger, and she brought that event to life. So we're at season 7.
In like the cotton candy dress.
Yes. And she believed in our vision. She was there with us the night before as we were setting up, praying with us, encouraging us. And now we get to share this stage, and we needed to have her on Detour Essential so we could have a conversation, because I know you all been following her. You've been seeing launch of all kind of things, and you have lots of questions. So we get to sit with her. But who is this Terri-Karelle? You know, we hear about your Jamaican girl, and she really is the epitome of our Jamaican woman. She represents all of us in so many ways. And what she has been is she has in fact been a compass. She's been a compass for us as parents, as professionals, as personalities. She has been a compass, and she is now the brand compass. But this has been a journey. We remember her the first time with them Afro curls on the stage. Everybody's like, who is this natural hair girl? But man, she's pretty. And she has been one of of the persons who has brought natural hair to the fore. So no, it's normal. She has been a trailblazer. She studied veterinary sciences in Cuba, so she's fluent in Spanish too. She comes back to Jamaica with the multicultural differences, with accreditation. She decides that she's going to take a detour, and this has led her on a journey. She shows us that you start one way, you learn a set of skills, but you utilize every single gifting, every single talent. You pump them, you plug them in, you feed them, and you grow them, and you share them. Talk about impactful. We all know what it felt like when we saw that TEDx stage and we saw Terri-Karelle walk out, and we're like, that's our Terry.
Look, I have goosebumps just
thinking about it. We all learned to parent with her. In fact, her nine, she have like whole auntie, one bagger auntie, one bagger uncle. She has taught us about friendship. In fact, she was on a show previously on Detour Essentials with Garfine, where we experienced friendship in its purest form. We wake up to her in the morning. She shares realness and truth with us. We share her grandmother, we share her mother, and we feel like we are a part of Terry. We know that there are parts of this book of this woman that her life will just continue unfolding. And of course, as we talk about books, she just launched her book, Brand Compass. This is now an international book available on Amazon. She's been doing her book signings at Kingston Bookshop. So you have to go. I mean, I had such goose pimples when I looked and saw the line of people waiting to have their book signed. This is our very own Jamaican woman that is paving paths, opening doors, that's not afraid when she sees an opportunity to seize it, to share with us how it is done. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on an like dep on the feet, and another ear, because we will our Jamaican girl. Our Jamaican girl, DK herself, Dr. Terri-Karelle Reid. It's showtime!
Oh my gosh! Rochelle, what an introduction! Naomi, Kathy, my family, thanks for having me. No, I forgot to learn the
we have to
dance. Learn the dance and thing. Hi guys, congratulations on season 7. Oh my goodness, big deal.
We're very excited. I see Garfine is here. He's not on the show with us today, but he's surely in the comments.
Oh my god, I listened to the introduction and I was like, that's me? Is that me Rochelle is describing?
You're not used to people introducing you.
No, I'm not like bios either. So this is not her thing.
True. Hi guys. Hi emergers. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thanks guys.
So Terry, we are just beyond excited to have you back on Detour Essentials Live. As Rochelle mentioned, you were our first host for our Ready to Emerge Summit, the first one in 2019, March. And as Rochelle said, you were just ready to support. And it was like such a phenomenal event. We had mentioned earlier that you joined us with Garfine when we did Detour Essentials in like one of our first seasons, I believe.
Correct. About friendship, fostering your friendship and your relationship.
And then not only that, you also were a speaker when we had our online workshop, Emerging in a Digital World. So Terry is really a part of the Emerge family. Right? So it could actually be a 4-0 and not just a 3-0.
That's true. Thanks for having me, guys. Oh man, thank you.
So, Terry, we know a lot of stuff is happening. We are so proud of you with your book launch. Her face.
You did a thing, girl. You
did a thing, right?
I did a thing. Thanks, guys.
You did a thing, right? So we're going to get to that because I know Rochelle had a lot of questions specifically about my brand compass. But before we get in that, I like to hear about the journey. My favorite quote is the journey is the reward. And we know that your journey has been an very interesting one. But what we want to kind of get is what has happened over the last 2 years specifically. Like, how have you been emerging since what we call this giant panini that is still here,
Right.
right? So we're all still emerging, but what tell us what has happened over the last 2 years for you.
Great question. And the reason why it's a great question is because I don't think I've ever answered this particular question because I almost feel guilty. The last 2 years have been so hard for the world and for Jamaicans, between people having lost loved ones and not even being able to honor people and to bury people in a dignified manner. People lost their jobs. Some people were furloughed. And so for me, however, the last 2 years have been the biggest for my brand, in all honesty. I mean, I had been working and chugging along and being committed and, being consistent, but it really wasn't until the pandemic happened that I think my brand took it to the next level. And I guess that's why they speak about the tipping point. I think they always speak about being prepared or expecting the unexpected. So you won't always know what's coming and there's an uncertainty, but it's the work that you put in before that gets you to this tipping point, and then all of a sudden it's just your season and your time to shine. And so while a lot of people were trying to figure out this whole online thing and now having an online presence and what does this brand presence look like and how do you now communicate beyond the borders, I had already been doing it in my own little space. And so because I was already there, I was already ready. All of a sudden, I was now serving customers and clients around the world in a manner that I would not have been able to do had the pandemic not come. So it's just interesting to see that sometimes something have to happen for something to happen. And I was just grateful to have been very prepared that when the opportunity came, I was able to maximize on it.
Absolutely. I remember when Paul Brunson was here and he spoke to that as well about being, I remember he had a specific line about opportunities, but being prepared for it so that when the opportunity presents itself, you are ready. It's not luck, folks, right? It's being prepared so that when opportunity knocks, you can fly through that door.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest lessons I also learned is that when everyone, clients, customers, and other brands were also trying to figure out everything in this fear-based world, they're going to turn to people who they can trust. I think they turn to people who have already had a proven track record, which is why the preparation is important. So while everyone is trying to figure things out and they're trying to figure out how to now communicate and engage their audiences and their clients, they kind of start to look for persons who were always there and consistent before, and they reach out to you. So it's not, as you said, not luck, and it doesn't just happen. No, it's the record that you've been, it's the hits, as my best friend called it, the number one hits that you've been putting out over a period of time that puts you in that position.
Absolutely. And as we know, on every journey, it's not always perfect, right? We all have to have our detours, which is why we have detour essentials. We have our pivots and roadblocks. So tell us what were some of the things specifically over the last 2 years that you would have maybe considered to be your roadblocks or your pivots or your potholes that you had to swerve and avoid or put on a new tire to keep moving towards your journey and your purpose. Because I think a lot of us went through many different things during that time, but not everybody was able to figure out how to navigate, right? And still move forward. So I would love if you could share some of that with us.
Right. I think for me, one of the things was is the self-talk. I think self-talk is really important, especially when a lot of things are happening around you and you're not quite sure even what the expectation is going to be for you. I think one, I love the scripture, be still and know that I am God. So the first thing I don't do is I do not panic under any circumstance. I'm not a worrywart by nature. I start to ask myself, all right, what are the things you can control? We're not going to sit down and worry about the things that you can't control because they're out of your control. So what are the things you can control? Number one, I was grateful that even while I was doing well up until the pandemic, I was somebody who always managed my money. Let me repeat that one more time.
Please repeat that very loudly.
I was always someone who managed her money. So even though I was hosting my events and yeah, put away my little money, I was not spending ridiculously. I was not trying to live a lavish life. I was always responsible with my money. So when the pandemic hit and I see all of my events just got cancelled, one of the reasons why I didn't have to panic was because my emergency fund was intact.
Mm-hmm.
My storage basket or my storage room was okay. And so I think that also helped me not to panic, because now I was in a position to truly live comfortably without having the fear of, oh my God, I don't have no money. So a part of the
And
preparation.
yes to things that aren't aligned with who you are just to make the money.
Exactly. And so I was responsible with the money, and I think that helped me to not have to do things that don't align with my brand, and it allowed me to not panic. Number two, I start to ask myself, where are the gaps? Okay, so I was online, I was on social media, I was consistent, but if I am supposed to still be able to serve my clients, what do I need? What are the tools? You have to go and invest. So I went and I got my webcam and I get my this and I get my that, because I am still preparing. And
Yeah.
even when there was a part of me that said, you're spending money on tools when the world not really now keep event, now do nothing, are you really going to spend money as if events really are going to keep? And my answer was yes, because even now I have faith that the Lord God has given me all of the tools that I need. And He put me in a position to have all my money, so that now is the time for me to double down. So I adjusted, and that meant getting the tools that I needed. And as soon as I got the tools that I needed, what do you think started happening? Events started to happen
Okay.
online.
But that's what happens, Terry, is that you have to step out in faith and step out in fear, right? And that's how God and the universe rewards us, I believe, when we make that for that intention, right? Being intentional even when everything doesn't look like it's adding up. And as you said, people are saying to you, and that's why even having the right people around you becomes so much more important too, because you need people that will support those choices.
Absolutely. And so something else that I did, so I prepared for that. I learned to create my own website. I said, well, I'm here, I'm not doing anything. How can I build out assets while I am having downtime? So for me, it wasn't even detours. It was what are the things that I can capitalize on now that I have time. It was also the time I started writing the book. So I have a choice. I can either sit down and worry about all the possibilities that could happen and what might happen and what I'm not prepared for, or I could start to look at the things that I can control, and those were some of the things that I built out, and it all worked out for the best. So I think vision is important, courage is important, and the ability to bet on yourself even when you don't know what's gonna happen. You bet on yourself and you invest on yourself, and you hope for the best. Bless you.
Thank you very much, Terry. I mean, I know Catherine is feverishly writing down the notes, as she always does, for our recap. But yeah, that's bet on yourself, right? That's what it's all about, even when the world tells you no. We can
Yeah,
never
absolutely. And I just think one more thing that I think made my brand stand out even during the pandemic was, I think even as events started to come back out, a lot of persons were kind of saying, don't worry about it. This is a new kind of setting. You don't really have to go hard. You don't have to really dress. You don't really have to show up. People will understand. Your bosses will understand. Everyone is trying to deal with the home, school, everything. You don't have to worry. And even though I heard that in the spaces around me and it was acceptable in spaces around me, I said, whether or not may I do something online or not, I am going to show up for my clients and my customers in a way that I show up in person. And when I started to do that, people paid attention, clients paid attention, my community paid attention. And then soon people were saying, no, it's a part of your brand. And so these are things that I just doubled down on during the pandemic.
And so Angeli Martin Spencer would always say that, you must dress the way that you want to be addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Online,
ma'am.
offline, it doesn't matter. And that's something that I stick to. I believe in it and I stick to it.
Absolutely. So one more thing I wanted to talk about, Terry, because as we know, I was a part of that original journey with you for TEDx. Please share, because I don't know if everybody really knows that story and all the things that happen behind the scenes and then the actual big day. I mean, the fact that we have on Detour Essentials Live a TEDx speaker from our little island called Jamaica, right?
Yes.
That's a big, I'm not going to curse bad words deal. So I see Catherine was like waiting to say, oh my God, does Nai not remember this is like a family friendly show?
No, my
PG-13.
finger was on the mute button.
Come on, guys, come on. I'm trying to be authentic, okay?
True.
Anyway,
Thank you.
it was a big deal. This is a big deal. Tell us about this for you.
Thank you. You mentioned Paul Brunson because we were at the very same event where he spoke. And, there's something profound that he said. It's very simple, but it was profound. And he said, you have to put your talent on display. And a lot of the times we either underestimate our talent, we underestimate our ability to communicate our talent. And sometimes we underestimate the power of our stories, right? Our lived experiences. We underestimate it. So here it is. Naima and I, since she's been growing, we've had this very open, honest, transparent relationship. And there are times when I would just put up the phone in the car and we just have our conversation. She'd ask questions that I think a lot of parents might be like, uncomfortable, abort. Whereas I would just, answer with, I would answer effortlessly. And I realized that each time I posted those, it resonated, and parents would say, hey, I used your video to have the conversation with my daughter or my son, and hey, I really love those videos. I didn't think anything of it, except for the fact that I get an invitation in March saying, hey, we would like to invite you to be a TEDx speaker in Birmingham, UK. And I think it's a scam. I think the chop of them there. Yeah. I think the chop of them scamming me, and I'm going to have to go send $500 via Western Union, in order to get this opportunity. When I realized it was real and it was true, and they wanted to set up a meeting with me, I'm going, is this the same TED Talks that I watch? People who I see as innovators and movers and shakers and shapers of thoughts and ideas. And when we had the meeting, funny enough, what they said was, we want us to talk about untapped. That is the theme. Yes. So I go untapped potential. Okay, I know it's going to be about veterinary medicine and how I pivoted. And they were like, that's a really great story. They were like, that's your secondary story. And I'm like, so what's the primary? And they say, well, it's your relationship with your daughter. We have seen the videos. We have seen the conversations. We think, especially now during the pandemic, a lot of parents are under a lot of stress. Kids are there, and we think these are important conversations to have. And we want to know, are you interested? Mom? Mom? You're asking me that question? And then they go, and you'd be the first female Jamaican, invited to be a TEDx speaker at this particular university in this territory. History? What? Jamaica? On the map? Listen, I said absolutely. And it was hard. I ain't gonna lie. Not because they'll tell you that TEDx, the committees don't look for great speakers. It's not that they go out looking for public speakers. They go out and look for people who they believe can provoke thought. And so the months that it took leading up to the trip, and funny enough, it was a trip that I was able to go in person. Many persons who were invited as TEDx speakers had to do it remotely, but they insisted on having me do it on the stage in front of the audience, and I ran with it. And it took editing, it took tweaking, it took going back, coming back, changing around my thoughts. But
and you had to shoot the whole presentation before you went as well, correct?
like a couple days before, they say, you know what, just in case, because we don't know what the world is going to be like, we don't know if we might have a wave, we don't know what immigration and border control is going to do, we need all of you to pre-record your thing. And this is where relationships and community comes in, right? I called Delano from phase 3 and I said, this is what I have to do. I don't have a lot of time. I am still hosting events for my clients. I have this one day. And he just said, Terry, done. He gave me studio, tools, equipment, cameramen, everything. They edited it. They sent it over to them. And even when I got there at Birmingham, the IT team, the production crew looked at me and said, by far the best quality we have ever seen.
Wow.
And yeah, absolutely. So from a branding perspective, I wanted anything that is coming out of Jamaica, right? I think anything that we touch, we have the ability to leave a lasting impression. And sometimes that impression happens even without you being in the room physically. And so when they said that, that was just another breadcrumb of Jamaica and what Jamaicans can do. So I did it, I got it done, and when they published in January, I said, oh my God, this is official. I am a TEDx speaker. So yeah, amazing.
We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for celebrating me, guys.
Of course. You are always one of the first to celebrate everybody.
Thank you.
And
I think that felt different.
You're like a foro. You're the foro.
No, seriously, Terry. When we were thinking about the first first of all, Emerge was just a thought. And when Rochelle goes and announces it on the stage, they'll be there like, okay,
at that same event,
this is happening.
Paul Brunson.
And we were like, we need Terry to be the host.
Thank you.
That's it. We don't want anyone else.
That's kind of like what Terry said about just kind of doing the things, because we knew Rochelle was speaking on this stage and we had just like started talking about Emerge, but we went ahead and created business cards with a bit.ly link to pre-register for the event. That time we don't have no event. Okay.
That's in a venue. We never have a venue.
It's all right though, but you know what that does though?
100 people. It was standing room only, as you know, for our first summit.
No, absolutely. But I think that's what it is, right? A lot of the times we sit down on our ideas. Yeah. Yo, I have this amazing idea. I'm wondering if I should do this. You know, I really think I'd be great at this. And a year passes, 2 years pass, 3 years pass, 10 years pass, 20 years pass, and you're still talking about this idea where you have. The idea is just the idea unless you execute. And even if you execute, it may not be perfect. You may not get 200 people for your first event. Maybe you get 5. But the idea is for you to take that 5, still deliver. In fact, over-deliver. And then you'll be oversubscribed the next time. Bless you. So I think you have to have vision for yourself. And if you don't put skin in the game, and if you don't hold yourself accountable, then you're just a talker.
And why should anybody else?
Yeah. No, but Terry, you're really taking us to church. I'm just sitting here just listening to you, because every time I said, we just sit down at the time I listen to you. But you know, Terry, as I listen to you, I think one of the things that you've always done is, you know, we hear this word multipotentialite. And I remember when I was younger, my mother always said, everybody got potential, but potential ain't money in the bank. Like, if you ain't cashing in on that potential, if you're not using those gifts, if you're not multiplying those talents, you could have potential a little bit more. And you have used your giftings and talents. You mentioned earlier courage and stepping out in faith. And I know as people see you do your thing, as they see you do your many things, they say to themselves, but I Terry that. Because even the other day, you know, we see you post one video, like, you never ever have no makeup and say, you could have just wake up. I say, wow, Terry pretty when she just waking. And then I said, Lord, Terry bright, Terry did pretty from long time, Terry this, Terry that. But they don't know the sweat and tears in the background. Can you tell us a little bit about that? The stepping out, the camera is on, that I'm really doing a thing.
Absolutely.
What that feels like.
Absolutely. In fact, I can take you back to the Gleaner. The Gleaner was my last 9 to 5. And I was having a hard time. There was a struggle in me. Do I leave? Do I stay? If I stay, there's this security, even though I always say that's a false sense of security, because if you work for other people and they feel the heat, anything can happen to you, right? It's secure, it's stable. I have my check. I'll do my little event hosting on the side, 1 and 2 gig, every little thing, as long as there's no conflict of interest. I can take some little events in at night. Then I started to realize my events increasing, right? I'm realizing that I now have to turn down events because, hey guys, I have a 9 to 5. I can't leave my work for come and do your event. And I sat down, and it's the first time I had the conversation of, what are you going to do? This is a signpost. And my brain told me everything and tried to convince me, let me tell you something. He said that event hosting something is seasonal. Then what if them now gonna have no event? And there are other people in the space, so them don't necessarily have to choose you. So are you sure that you're going to be able to get those events in such a way that it is going to take care of you comfortably? If it were me wouldn't want to take the risk, because suppose you give up the bird in the hand, the big bird in the hand for the bird in the bush. No, sir. Then suppose you flop. You go resign upon the people, them, and you decide to take on things, and you realize, hey, missus, not dead there. What are you going to do? No. Well, we have the real conversations, right? My brain tussled, and I said, you know what? I said, the God that I serve sends messengers and sends messages. And a lot of the time we pray for things and he's sending us the messages and he's speaking to us, but we just not listen. We're not listening because the opportunities are not coming the way we think they should come. It now come in a box with a big bow and it's not so prettily packaged in front of you. And you said, God, no, I don't want that. I want a bigger box. I want a bigger bow. And you find that we're stuck. What I started to do was I was still. And I said, all of these people who are coming to me, they're coming to me because they see that there's a value in a service that I can offer. And I think this is the signpost that is telling me, listen, if you take the leap, you won't fall on your face. It is there. But nobody can make that leap for you but you. Nobody can take that risk but you. And the day I decided, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Because the God that I know is not going to open up a door of opportunities for me and not equip me with the right talent. I may not be qualified in my brain, but I know that by the time I walk through that door, I will be qualified. I'm going to learn on the spot. I'm going to take everything that I need to do. I'm going to assimilate, because the Terri-Karelle back in 2016, 2017, 2018 is not the Terri-Karelle of 2022. So I started off shaky like everybody else. And I have to grow. The issue is that people believe that confidence comes first and then you perfect everything. That's not how it works. I think you start imperfectly. You don't have all of the pieces to the puzzle. Everything feels awkward and uncomfortable. And it is as you push through and you do it regardless and you do it in spite of, and you realize you are executing. But you're getting the outcome and the results that you want. Your confidence starts to say, see, girl, me to tell you everything cool. The same brain that was trying to convince you to stay safe is now the brain that has been conditioned to now tell you, go for more, do more. You can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
And you cannot make perfect with the enemy of the good, or just the enemy of getting something done. Rochelle said, with the offering plate there, it's a friend. Find out who I'm friend. But Terry, you would have stepped out and you're well known and things have gone for you. And as you mentioned, sometimes we boo ourselves. We don't give nobody a chance to boo us, We boo ourselves before we get on a stage, and we're like, them not gonna like with this. People did like you, them a follow you, them on your YouTube, them know Naima, everything. And you know that also brings another set of roadblocks where you're afraid to step to another level and step out of the comfort to go all write one book because suppose them not like a book and then say me not look up on the book cover, the book not make no sense, so me not go write no book. You know what I mean? So tell me
The
about
pressure. The pressure.
and all the night before when the book's supposed to launch and you can't sleep or wake up and say the book.
Rochelle, what you speak about is so much facts. Because I think people think that the more popular you become, is the easier life is. People think that the more people know you, whether you're a celebrity or a public figure, or you're a superstar, then the life the most nice. And what I don't think a lot of people appreciate, which you speak to, is the growing pressure. More eyeballs, more visibility, more potential criticism. The higher monkey climb is the more bottom exposed, where many people are able to fail in, behind closed doors. There's nobody doesn't know, and you can kind of brush yourself off. And when certain people who have the kind of visibility that I have falls or flops, that becomes public forum. That's a conversation. That's headlines. That's media. That could be everything. But I am past that because I believe that my calling is bigger. I think I also know that if I fail, it is not that I am a failure, but it means that there's something that I need to tweak, that I need to change. It doesn't make me damaged. It does not devalue who I am or what I have to offer to people. Failure for me has been redefined as something else. That's just your lesson. Okay, what did I learn? So here it is. I am writing a book, but I actively listen to my community. Over the years, my community asked me lots of questions. My community has asked me for the book, the talk show, the radio show, the podcast. They've asked me for everything. And I think what that did was it put me in a position to see where my market was at. Many times people produce things and then they hope to attract the market. But my market was telling me, hey, we would love to see these things come from you. What are you waiting on? So I said, all right, cool. I realized that I started getting a lot of questions about showing up, being the best version of yourself, being the best cheerleader you can be for your brand, letting people stop, take notice, and listen and respect what it is you do. So when they started to ask me about branding, I would push them to Naomi. Best believe. I'll tell them, listen, she have the book, she have the course. Go, she's going to help you. If they ask me about public speaking, I push them to Crystal Tomlinson. I'm going to say, listen, she have our course, go do that. When they started to ask me specific questions, Terri-Karelle, what do you do? What are the things you practice? I said, oh, okay. So here it is. I'm sitting down during a pandemic and I decide I'm going to write a cheat sheet. One piece of paper to drop on my website. So when people come to me, they can just go and you'll see TK's frequently asked questions about branding. But as I started to answer the question, it was a cheat sheet. It was not supposed to be a book. It was never supposed to be a book. Well, according to me.
To you.
According to me. But God, man a plan, God a wife. I was just doing a little.
Where you not even know that if you build.
So I was just doing a cheat sheet that I thought would help my community just to, cover the basics. And God said, you shall not. God said, you're going to write something with depth and you're going to be profound and you're going to give them more than you anticipated. So when we start writing, I said a little 1 page, I become a little 4 page, I become a little 40 page, I say, and I fought it. I fought the process. I'm going to use this forum to tell your viewers and even you guys, I was not going to complete this book. I was not interested in completing this book. I just wanted to do a one-sheeter and call it a day. It was taking my time, my commitment. All of a sudden, my events start happening. All of a sudden, my brand is exploding. And all of a sudden, I push the book aside because I say, well, I just don't have the time. This is not what I planned for anyway. Nobody never knows me was going to do it anyway. So if I stop it now, who's going to know? Who's going to know? And 2 years passed. I started in 2020, guys. And I was almost done by the end of 2020, but I got busy. I lost track of what I think God had for me. Procrastinated, did all kind of thing. Garfield bad me up, Terry and on to the thing. Scoops are bad me up, warm to the book, finish the book. I get a whole heap of bad up. But when I finally decided to do it, rush, what I told myself was, this is it. I've tried to be honest. I've answered the questions. And if I can help one person, Naima bad me up as well. Naima came and she said, Mom, we saw you doing the book. We saw you writing. She was beside me for a lot of the nights that I was writing. So she was also expecting this book that was just not going to ever happen. And I just decided, you're going to do it. You're going to commit to yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't be making time for everybody else. When you have your clients and you have your events, you clear your schedule, you do your research, you make sure you get your outfit. Listen, you go out a road and you put them first. But you are finding it so hard to dedicate just enough time to just see this thing through. Be intentional. And when I reminded myself of the importance of valuing myself and my time and my expertise, I got it done. And then I just released it. And what I have experienced is nothing that I had in mind at all. At all. I thought maybe 1 or 2 books will sell, maybe a 3 or 4, your family will come through. But what I have experienced from the community, locally, regionally, and internationally, has left me gobsmacked, to say the least.
Wow. Well, and Terry, even as you talk through that journey, I know it's resonating with so many people, with so many things that we start, and we're finding time for everything else. And how important our supporters are, our accountability partners. And sometimes we have some dream where we have to share it with even one person, like a fluid version of Garfield, that people are holding us accountable, checking in. Whether something there, and them checking in nicely, then them have a bad way up, and then them say, where the manuscript there? Come, we're rolling with this.
Yes.
Terry, as you have looked at this, you held this book in your hand, and you're like, whoa, Dr. Terri-Karelle do this. Oh my, that's me. Like you look on it and you say, oh, watch me, watch good girl, watch nice girl, watch daughter. Hey, feel good.
It's surreal, and I don't think I've been able to process it yet, Rush. From the time I launched, and I just thought, I don't know what I thought, but I thought that after I launched, I would have just gone back to Terri-Karelle, event host, mommy, speaker. I honestly thought that. I'm such an idiot. I have not stopped to process. But what I will tell you is, when I saw the book and when I felt the book, it felt so good, because you say you did it. You did it. You came very close to just parking it, but look at what happens when you bet on yourself. Right. Look at what happens when you say, I'm going to give to me what I give to others. Look at what can happen. And so even at the book signings, I'm seeing people coming from their dialysis session. I'm seeing people who have tubes who are coming to my book signing to say, you took me through this period of my life and I had to come here. I'm seeing people who are going through chemotherapy, who should be at home, highly medicated, who are pushing to come to meet me because in this particular period of time, I did something or said something that pushed them. People on them hospital bed, and people are video calling them, and I'm going, this is so much bigger than a book. Yes. It really comes back to the power of community and protecting it at all costs. And because I've protected my community over the years, they've respected it, and I think I've done more for them than I even know. And this is their way of saying, yo, we'll go back you. It
And
means a
also
lot.
your mission as well, because as you had said earlier, when you know your purpose and you know why you are supposed to be doing something, then that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So it's funny. So I'm here looking at this book, and I remember when we did this photo shoot. So let me tell you something about Terri-Karelle, right? So this was before the pandemic. We did the shoot, right?
2 months before the pandemic. 2 months
Just
before
like
the
how
pandemic.
Terry don't like bios and those things. When we did this photo shoot, I know she wasn't thinking about no book. She never even wanted a photo shoot. She did it because she needed photos for her speaker kit and her website. And even on location, Terry was super awkward because she doesn't like being the focus or like in front of the camera. That's not her thing. So for me, when I saw this picture on the cover here, you know, well, look at this. Look at where we're coming from.
Yeah.
From not wanting to have a photo shoot to having a book cover photo. Big up yourself, O'Neill Grant. You are the boss.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And I'm even mentioning that, a lot of people look at us, the ones who seem to have everything under control and we have things together and we seem to be, we're doing our thing and we're stepping out, courageously. And a lot of persons think it's always easy. I don't like being photographed. I despise it. I love video because
Photos.
Stage photos, I don't like it. So in video, which is why I do video, I'm animated. Once whatever I say, my mannerisms go. Video captures that. When you're gonna tell me to sit, turn, angle, light, look back, not too much, head up, head down, shoulder down, it becomes very unnatural for me. But again, this was another example of pushing through. Change is inevitable and change is uncomfortable and nobody likes to step out and do things that you're not comfortable with. But it is what is on the other side. When you push through. You push through and you realize it wasn't that bad. And then you see the outcome brush.
And you see the outcome. And you talk a lot about your community and hearing from your community. And as I looked at the book, I think one of the questions I had for you immediately was, that you say you don't like taking pictures, you prefer doing video. I like the other way. I love doing pictures. I hate doing video, and I never watch videos of myself ever, ever. But I'm like, just say sit and be pretty, and that's me. I'm me. But I thought to myself, when you
are the opposite.
When you look at the book and you read the book, can you share with us one?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the book? When you look at it, do you say, I'm proud of Terry? And what is one of your favorite parts of the book?
Great question. Jeez, great question, Rush. When I started writing it, I liked it. And then as I started writing more, I started asking myself, is this really necessary? Is this really necessary? I don't really think that all of this is necessary. But when I saw how everything came together, and I guess what I'm trying to also say is that when you start, sometimes things are ugly. It's ugly because it's work in progress. Sometimes you don't actually see the end process because you're pulling the pieces together. So there are pieces that were lovely. There are some chapters that you write from your heart and everything is just flowing, and then there's another chapter where you're just like, I hate it. Nothing's happening. Die. Maybe this should be 12 C's and not 13 C's. But then what I started to do is I play to my strengths. And it's interesting because I drew a compass. It was an ugly compass that I drew, and I gave it to my illustrator, and I said, I want you to pretty up this compass, because as I go through the book, we're going to fill out the compass, and it's actually going to be the structure of the book. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking about the compass being the title. That was not even anywhere near my thoughts. But it is pulling together the pieces. I see Naomi always speak about this, getting the right people. So like Alisa, who looked at me and I said, I don't want it to be all text. I want illustrations. I want illustrations because I think some things are best said in, visual. I love comics. And she was there reading the book herself, reading the manuscript, and then saying, all right, how can I complement what she's saying? And so when it finally came together, I loved it. Lisa did the entire book design, and then I got Natasha Cunningham to come in because the cover is important. I love art, and I wanted it to be something that was colorful and vibrant and very it's a reflection of who we are as islanders. We're bright and we're bold. And then I said to her, just put things that, speak to growth, amplification, blooming, uniqueness. And so she decided to put the flowers and the leaves that makes it look like you're growing. You have the bullhorn, which is to amplify. And so when I looked at the final thing, I said, I am pleased. I am pleased. And we are our biggest critics, and we will always find fault. But I think we should give ourselves grace. And I think we should pat ourselves on the back for actually putting something together. No matter how long it took, no matter how ugly it was when it started, credit yourself for being able to pull all the things together to create something that you did. You took it from here. And I think that's what I started to do. And so I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I hope that it resonates with others.
Yes, and I see it's resonating. Makeda said the book is far beyond normal. Normal alive. Your energy is all up in the book. Every time I read, I can hear your voice and feel your vibes. Lisa, hey Lisa. Lisa says, I'm so proud of you, Terry. Trust me, it was really a process. I'm proud of the finished product too. Terry, feel like the two people who never get the book, I hear them now. We shame for ask, like exactly when we get the book. My hope Rachel ask her where we must get the book so we can go out of the book now. So we drop it in the chat.
Yes.
Where can people get the book right now?
Thank you.
Tomorrow? Where we getting the book? Where we getting the book?
Thank you. Well, the book is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. What's interesting is that people out in the diaspora are sending Jamaicans, like their family members in Jamaica, to Kingston Bookshop to get the book because they want a book signed. This needs to be a case study. This is a case study. I see men coming in and them saying, Dr. Reid, my wife in Canada, she sent me to. So anytime I see the men coming, I say, who sent you? Oh, it's my girlfriend. It's my sister. And now I'm going to go to the postal service and ship off the book. And I'm like, it's on Amazon. They're like, no. They said I must get your signature. So it's on Amazon, Kindle, and paperback. It's in all Kingston bookshops. It will be available at all Toyota Jamaica in Old Hope Road, as well as Montego Bay. And Fontana probably will start carrying it maybe next week, if I'm not mistaken. So we're trying to distribute to as many as possible.
Oh yeah. Well, let me give Kathy a chance because I'm a conversation hog already.
Thanks for that, Rush. So Terry, I mean, we sit and we listen to you talk about all the different things that you do, from being a TEDx speaker to being an event host, now being an author, a podcaster, because before the book, there was the podcast, and there was, how many seasons of the podcast did you do?
I did one, and my second season is going to come in the third quarter.
What month are we?
So my second season of my podcast is going to come now in the third quarter. So after
third quarter of this year.
Of this year, correct.
Yes. Okay. But so, and we see you doing all of these things. We see you juggling. We see you being a mom. We see you doing all of these things. So when we talk about life and love, because we hear you talk about scoops all the time as well, balance for most of us doesn't seem like it's actually attainable, but you seem to just have it all together, right? So we want you to tell us, how do you actually navigate that? What advice do you give? What does balance look like in reality?
Nice question. Thank you. I think what I've shared with my community, because it's one of the number one questions. It's probably my top 3 of all the questions that I get asked. That question is always there. I don't believe in balance. I don't believe it. I don't believe in balance. I hear people talk about it now. And when I was younger, the concept, the idea sounded right. Like it sounded like, yeah, it makes sense. As you get older, I think experience teaches wisdom, and you realize that even how we define balance is different. What's balanced for Rochelle may not be balanced for me, and what's balanced for Naomi may not be balanced for Kathy. So for me, what I started to realize is that I'm not going to try to seek balance because I think it is physically, mentally, psychologically impossible for me. And this is just my humble opinion. What I have started to do is I have created my boundaries. I am very serious about my boundaries. I'm very clear about my no's because my no's help me to be productive where I need to be. My no's keep me aligned and my no's keep me within my intention. Because if I say yes, 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 then it just piles on more on my plate. So I think you have to exercise putting up your boundaries and being unapologetic about it. Who are vex? Vex. And if them vex, that means they're not really a part of your tribe. Because if them respect you and them understand what you're doing, then they'll be like, all right, cool, I will catch you back when you have the time. Going back to your question, for me, it's about priorities. So there are weeks that Naima is my priority. There are weeks that she's not my priority. And I mean, it sounds bad. Maybe I'll sound like a bad parent for saying that. You know, there's some people who say their children are always at the top of the list. Actually, no, because when you're balancing motherhood, you have demands of work, you're doing this, you're doing that, you have your commitments. And if everything is on the same level, somebody gets shortchanged at some point. So there are times when I have to look at my checklist of things, clients, customers, engagements, commitments, Naima, my time, Terry time, my friend's time, my partner's time. And there are times when I have to keep on juggling and they will fluctuate. And in this particular period in time, if I realize, boy, I've been going for a long time and Scoops has been amazing and I haven't really stopped to even scratch him head. All right, Scoops, you move to the top of the list. Come on, Bowie. Come on, let's go do something. Let's go. Yeah. And then another time I go, wow, you know what? I've been doing book signing and I was not able to pick up Naima one day for this week. Scoops, you're out of here. Naima, you go to the top. And so for me, it's this constant reshuffling independence of where my energy and my resources need to be. So balance to me is this imaginary thing that a lot of people talk about, but for me, it's not what I think a lot of people say it is or should be.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think balance is really about prioritizing. What do you say no to? You know, and we think about the concept of what is urgent and what is important. Absolutely. You know, they all could be important, but maybe one. Yeah, exactly. So Terry, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
I would tell her, don't ever worry. Like everything you need is within you. Like you were born and made to be more. You were born and made to do more. And regardless of the elements, or as we, believers would say, the powers and the principalities that would try to convince you otherwise, don't take them on. Don't take them on. At the end of the day, you will always have more to lose. You will always have more to lose. So stay focused. Keep your head down. You're not here to compete. You're not here to compare. You are here to be, to thrive, and to make your promise meet your purpose. And if you keep those things on, baby girl, there is nothing that is going to stop you.
Amen.
I get the amen from Rochelle.
Amen.
You should write that down. You know what everybody was asking for Sarah's prayer for her husband?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That one need to write down.
That we need to write down what?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. You know, I was writing.
Right?
Just wrote it big.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
That's what I would tell her. That's what I would tell her. I tell her, I think a lot of us are unrealized potential and we never self-actualize because there's the fear and the shame and the guilt that we deal with, right? There's things that we've done in our past that we're not happy about or we're ashamed, and so we carry it. and it becomes the stumbling block as we try to become the better version of ourselves. And then there are people who, because they have not been experienced or they're not exposed, or because they're limiting and limited, they want to impose that on you. And so a lot of us listen to them. And I will constantly tell people who ask about that, you cannot give power to people. You cannot give audience to people. You do not set a place at your table for people who don't even pay for tickets to come into the stadium to watch you on the field. You are on the field. You are putting in your sweat, your energy, your attention, your resources, your everything. And you are going to give power to people who don't even pay for ticket to come in at the stadium. They're not even in the parking lot. You're madman. They do not get company. They do not get my time. They do not get my energy. And when we start to focus on those things and leave those things to the side, you find that life is just so much easier. You manifest things in a pure, happy, wholesome way because those people are not seated at your table. Period.
So we talk about self-actualization. You talk about manifestation. Tell us where you see Terry in 10 years so that we can now manifest that and affirm that with you.
You know, I'm going to tell you what I think I say to every time I get this question. I literally tell people, I don't know. If you had asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have told you, I don't know. But I'm an author in 2022. I could easily tell you I don't know, and I become a licensed pilot in the next 2 years. With me, I don't know. And I'm going to tell you why. I think every step of my life, God, I have given him dominion. I have given him the control over me. And one of the prayers I used to pray from I was a little girl coming all the way up, I said, use me. I am but a vessel. Use me. So it's not going to make sense for maybe some other, for other people. But for me, every step that I have taken has been ordered. And I do not fight. I do not resist. Even when I don't understand, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Author, really? All right, we're going to do it. I do not know where I will be in 10 years or 5 years. What I do know is constant with me is that I want that anybody who comes into my space, whether online or offline, whether it is for 5 seconds or whether it is for 50 minutes, that person experiences happiness and joy, and that they walk away feeling injected with purpose and knowing that they're here and that they matter and that I am rooting for them. So whichever place God put me, that will always be the thing that I want people to experience when they come into my space.
Amen.
Can the church say amen?
Amen.
No, because Terry, somebody says, Michelle says, hey Michelle, young woman with so much wisdom, she's defying her age. And what you just said, I know it resonates with people because we've been focused on setting goals. But what if we focus less on the actual what and the how we are going to impact, the kind of impact we want, what we want make people to feel in our presence from whatever work that we do. And I have to struggle, Lord, we had to debate about it, because me put certain things down and me I say, Papa, oh yeah, me never see that on the paper, me don't see it on the paper. But when you look to see what your intention was, he heard it, but he has purposed you, not for a title, not for a thing, but how you going to impact people, change people's lives. And Terry, you do that. You do that, girl. You did do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Josh. No, thanks, Josh. Thanks. That's why that question I always go, I don't know, and I always go, gosh, I must sound like a dunce because everyone always has this idea. But for me, it really isn't an idea. It's a feeling. And so whether him want make me a janitor, or whether him want put me as a CEO, or if him want put me as a bus conductor, if that is where he wants me, then I will just go and I will just do whatever it is I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. So Terry, we have our best advice segment.
Yes. Yes.
Nai, over to you.
Okay, so for our best advice segment, we normally ask, we're gonna ask a couple questions and we're gonna ask you to provide either the best advice that you would give or the best advice that you have received about this
Yeah.
particular topic, right? So the first question is, what is the best advice that you would give or you have received about confidence?
The best advice I would give is that confident, you're not born with it. So everyone who you see operating from a place of confidence, they learned it, right? They practiced it. They just continued to keep on doing it and perfecting it till, of course, it starts to feel better. So whenever we think of confidence, don't think that you are lacking because you were born this way. And so I want you to look at it as anything else that you need to work on. And sometimes you have to start working, fixing, refining, tweaking, experimenting, failing, learning, and starting over again. And it is in that process that your confidence continues to build.
Awesome. Best advice about branding.
Woo! Best advice about branding is authenticity will always rule. And I think one part of the book that, or one quote that I think is my favorite is that your character is your most valuable currency. So when it comes to your branding, understand that you can't paint the idea of being one thing while you're being something completely different. Your branding, who you are, who you say you are, and what you do all have to align. And that goes to your core, it goes to your character, and it goes to everything being congruent.
Absolutely. Best advice that you give or receive about building a career.
Woo-wee! When it comes to building a career, be flexible. Be flexible, and understand that sometimes the career you choose, may not be the career that chooses you. So I think you have to be open and have that mindset that even if you don't actually manifest it in the manner in which you're supposed to, you are in the right place at the right time, hopefully learning the right things. Respect the process. And even though you might be moving up the ladder, every step of your career matters. And it has the ability to shape and mold you into who you are becoming and who you will become. So respect the process and take it step by step.
Awesome. Well, as you say about respect the process, the next question is actually about best advice around trusting the process.
There you go. Lean not onto your own understanding. Sometimes it is very hard because as men and women, we are egotistical and we think we know it all, or sometimes because of our pride, we don't want to, seem as if we're vulnerable or we need any help. When it comes to trusting the process, it means that one, you kind of have to have a keen self awareness of who you are, but it also means that you have to know who to lean on when you are trusting the process. You have to know who's a part of your team, who you can trust, who you can lean on, who you can bounce ideas off of. And at the end of the day, you have to go with your gut. And sometimes it means trusting the process may not look pretty, it may not always look perfect. But at the end of the day, once you stick to your guns, you align always. I think the outcome that you want is the outcome you'll get.
Love that. And the last one is best advice about blazing your own trail.
Ooh. The best advice about blazing your own trail, it's very that's a very good question. I think you should be eager to be authentic, to stand on your own, to be your own person, your own personality, and to put your own twist on things. But don't forget that persons have gone before you, and there's a lot to learn, right? So there's this delicate balance between being self-driven and being self-centered. And so even as you are blazing your trail, it is important for you to take inspiration from others, take wisdom and knowledge from others, sit at people's feet. Even if you think you have a better, bigger talent and you have more to offer and you are a pioneer, sit at the feet of others because there will always be somebody who knows more than you, and that they can actually help to cement you on the path that you're actually trying to become a trailblazer on.
Love that. And I have Rochelle do this last one. So it's not best advice, but this is actually something that she had shared with us that she has done before in some of her workshops and trainings and retreats. And we decided to add it as a part of our Emerge closeout. So over to you, Roshi.
Thank you for that, Nai. Thank you very much. Terry, you've done a lot of stuff. You have dealt with adversity and challenges. You've faced them head on. You've been a great friend, your mother, your daughter. But when you take that step back, at the close of the day, sometimes we have to stop and say, yeah, today was a tough day. But notwithstanding, I would give myself the award for what? What award would Terry give to Terry? Just to acknowledge how far you come on this journey today.
That's an awesome question. Jeez, Rochelle, that question stumped me. I think the award that I would give myself is, I think it's, is self growth an answer? Is that a complete answer?
It can be anything that you believe you deserve that award for.
I think it would probably be my willingness to understand. I think the award that I would give myself is the award of empathy. I think I've grown a lot to become inclusive and to be understanding of other people, their backgrounds, their differences, and understanding that differences does not mean that people should be treated differently, but that everyone has a right to be treated with dignity. And I think that is probably the biggest superpower that I think I have, has allowed me to grow from strength to strength. So I would probably say it's my empathy, it's my ability to understand people regardless of where they come from. That's the one I'm going to go with.
I love that. And I'm just going to throw this out there since Michelle is already giving awards in the chat. What was the award that you in our audience would give Terri-Karelle today?
Let's see the award
in the chat. Michelle has started with I see award for authenticity, positivity powerhouse award for being our Jamaican girl. Let us know what award would you give to Dr. Terri-Karelle.
Garfield, what award would you give Terry? We need to know.
If he ever put Jonko award, I'm gonna I'm gonna drive to his house and
I was hoping he was gonna put that in, and I was like,
Terry, where can people find you?
People can find me at Terri-Karelle across all platforms, and Terri-Karelle Reid on LinkedIn. But this has been a pleasure. I mean, guys, this is really surreal, and I really don't know what to say. I think I'm still trying to process it all, but I appreciate it, and I think I'm grateful for the women who you are. At each point in my life, each of you has touched me in a particular way and has helped me to build on my brand. In very small ways, each of you has said or done something that has been a compass for me. And so I say thank you. And even as people look at me for guidance, I look to others to constantly keep me on my toes and on track. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to ask earlier on just a question about where Terry sees herself in 10 years. And wherever God places you in 10 years, tomorrow, next week, we just pray that God blesses and keeps you, that His face will shine upon you, that He will open doors for you, He will make your path every person and resource that is necessary for you to do His will. I pray that you will always be able to be still, hear from Him, and that you will make yourself continuously available for Him to use. We pray God's blessing over your beautiful daughter, that she will experience success beyond your wildest dreams.
I receive it.
And for health and strength for your grandmother and your mother.
We love Jeannie baby over here.
Very also, as you go into this next phase of your life with food, we pray that God will continue to be at the center of your relationship. He will guide you, keep you both, give you wisdom, and He will form cords of unity in this marriage that cannot be broken. We pray a marriage that you can write about, that can also inspire others, that's who can have enough of life, enough strength, who not just blessed with wealth and prosperity, and that who barns will never be empty, they will be overflowing.
Always overflowing. Amen.
Terry,
Thank you. I receive it all in the name of, in the blood, under the blood, in the name of Jesus. Thank you. Thank you.
Terry, thank you. Thank you for saying yes. We're so happy to have
I will
you.
always tell you guys yes. You will always get a yes from me. I promise. I promise.
Guys, you heard it. We have it on video. Right?
It's true.
It's a promise, it's a guarantee.
As always, so Catherine, you would know Terry hosted my 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a one question, and she was just like, I'm there.
Yep.
Always. Always. Love what you do. Love everything about your community. And I will always be a cheerleader right here. So it will always be yes.
Thank you.
And
bye, guys.
So I see a lot of people in the chat saying that we should save this episode. Guys, obviously you're new to Emerge. We have a whole channel on YouTube which has 6 seasons of episodes, and this one will upload immediately once we're over.
And the episode with Darcy and Terry that you
you can search for the episode. I honestly don't remember what episode it is, but we'll figure it out and send it. But if
season?
You can actually subscribe to our newsletter so that you are in the know with who's coming up next, as well as our workshop summits, all of the information, and we'll put in the newsletter that we send out for next week's guest what episode with Garvey and Terry in the show notes for sure, because I saw people asking about that. But we are here. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Catherine's supposed to say this. I got excited. So we're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, ready to emerge, Detour Essentials Live. This is season 7. This was episode 1. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Ready to Emerge. Rewatch all the episodes or binge watch for the first time. And don't forget to share this particular episode. You don't want to save all this knowledge and nuggets of wisdom for yourself. This needs crowd, as Catherine would say. Get the crowd, share the link, watch it with your friends, rewatch it again, link up Terri-Karelle, go buy her book at Kingston Bookshop or on Amazon. Get it for your girlfriends, wives, cousins, aunties, everybody. And let's all build these amazing brands.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, guys. God bless you. Watch that the glasses make you look smarter for sure. For sure.
Guys, hello. We didn't know the bounce. We didn't know the bounce challenge.
Before we bounce, I just have a reminder. We do have a workshop. We do have a conference on September 18th. Follow us on all of our platforms. And guys, Shani McGrath Shirley, one of our emergers, one of our guests, she actually closed out season 6. She is starting her Fit Fire Dance Fitness Masterclass on June 8th until July 6th. So please go to Yasa Fitness and Yasa Fitbox for more details on her Instagram. You can follow her on at Shani Shirley to get more information, but show up. I mean, I used to go to Shani's class. My old bones can't manage it anymore, but I think I might. So that's a perfect segue into the bounce that Nye and Terry and Rushy are going to do for you, because I don't even know what they're talking about.
I've seen it on... I'm going to just look so old now. I've seen everybody doing the challenge.
Do I need to... Let me... YouTube? You playing the song, Nye?
Let me find it.
No, after Terry have me at the electric side, no, so me can't follow no instruction. I don't know from my left. So
you did so well, though, Rush. You did so well.
I found it.
You know the bounce challenge?
Oh, I just
you know the bounce?
Of course. Who's coming to bounce with it, Terry?
I'm not hearing it.
I
know. I'm also the bounce challenge.
So she don't know what we're talking about. Her blouse says TikTok.
Yes, it's starting off.
Okay.
I'm too old for this. I'm just too old for this.
I'm
Oh,
ready.
I see it
I can't
now.
hear anything.
You turn it
I
off?
can't hear it.
I see
Are
it.
you
I
hearing
see
it,
it.
Rochelle?
Listen, whenever in doubt, do the butterfly. Whenever in doubt, do the bogle.
I have my
Whenever
speaker
in
on.
doubt, do the tatty. Yo, whenever you're in doubt, do the whirler dance. It's all good, guys. It's all good. When in doubt, those dances will never fail you.
All right.
Guys,
Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining
You'll
us.
be not impressed.
it's
Same
it's
time,
okay.
same place.
I'm gonna do it by myself.
Bye, everybody.